Hey guys, welcome to downtown Bozeman, Montana, and I'm here because of this. It's the brand new Volkswagen Atlas. It's a 7-passenger family hauler, and Volkswagen flew me here to test drive not only this, but also the Tiguan on a grand American road trip. That's right, we're gonna go from here all the way down to Yellowstone National Park. But first, we're gonna stop by a grizzly bear sanctuary and maybe even hit a few of the local landmarks. And that is coming up right now on the Fast Lane Car. You know guys, it doesn't get much more beautiful than this. The trees are a golden yellow, the conifers are frosted with snow, and there's a sense of winter being just behind the door, knocking on the door, wanting to come in. I have to tell you, fall is one of my favorite times of year, and to see it up here in Montana, big sky country, where you can get a sense of what's coming, and you know what's coming. That is just feet and feet of snow. And to be here right before it starts snowing, it doesn't get much better than this. It really doesn't. The Atlas comes with two different engine options. There's the base 4-cylinder turbo that puts out 235 horsepower. That's front-wheel drive, but this all-wheel drive has the V6, 276 horsepower and a top speed of 116 miles an hour. And you know what? Maybe here in Montana we can actually try that top speed. I'm just kidding. Wouldn't it be fun though? Maybe on the Autobahn. I like this Atlas a lot. It's like Volkswagen finally got the message that Americans love big vehicles, 7-passenger vehicles. It's bold, it's square-jawed, it's kind of in your face. Even the name Atlas is good. It competes with cars like the Honda Pilot, the Toyota Highlander, and of course, it's relatively affordable. It starts at about $32,000, and if you get all the bells and whistles, it goes all the way up to about $50,000. There's a German elegance to the way that this second row seats folds or lets you into the back seat. It's straightforward. So if you want to fold it, of course, you just do this and you've got more room to store stuff. But if you want to get in the back seat, look at that. Gets out of the way. Lots of room to get back here.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. First time here at Montana Grizzly Encounter?
Yes, sure is.
Welcome. Right now we have Brutus and Bella out in the enclosure. Brutus is 15, Bella is 3. All of our bears except for Bella rescued from bad captive situations. Bella's our only wild-born rescue.
So once upon a time when taking pictures, you had to be very judicious with your use of film because it was expensive. You get these rolls of film, 24, maybe 36 pictures on a roll, had to have them developed. You'd buy them in some crazy touristy place like Paris, it would cost an arm and a leg. And then Polaroid came along and made it possible for people to take pictures and have the camera develop them. And now we've got this Fujifilm Instant Mini 8 that apparently does the same thing. So I say we get some bears and get some hard prints and see how this works. Let's give it a shot. When I was a TV reporter in Janesville, Wisconsin, I did a story about a police officer who rescued animals like this. And I remember going to his house, and he came down and he had a Bengal tiger, a baby Bengal tiger, which is still like 500 pounds or something, on a leash. And as soon as I turned on my camera lights, the tiger just went crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing in a room with a baby Bengal tiger? Anyway, he also rescued bears, and in his barn he had about a half a dozen of these grizzly bears. And he was telling me that most of them come from places like private zoos, and then they get abused and they end up places like this. So thank God that there are places like this where bears, who once upon a time were used to entertain us, are now at least living out their lives in relative comfort and safety. So why did you do this? What makes you...
To give our rescued bears the best life we possibly can, take this opportunity to educate people how to be safe in bear country.
Yeah.
You get safe, their wild cousins are going to be safer as well. The mindset that grizzly bears are after you, that they don't want to hunt you down and eat you, crumple it up and throw it in the garbage. They want nothing to do with people. Most species are taught to fear humans at a young age, with very good reason. Avoid direct eye contact. You stare them in the eyes, you're challenging them for dominance. Keep the animal in a calm mindset. You get excited, they get excited. Excited things make quick decisions. Calm mind thinks, excited minds react. You're the bear, I'm out. Easy. Shows respect in space. Shows
Gotcha.
equality.
Well, thank you very much. So how does this Atlas drive? Let's get this clear. This Atlas is built in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so while it's technically a German car, it's really immigrant, born and built in America. But that's not what I like about this car. What I really like about it is the fact that it's just honest and straightforward. And what I mean by that is everything comes to hand naturally. I drive a lot of different cars, so there are a lot of different positions of buttons and controls that I have to keep straight in my mind. But in this car, everything is just naturally where it should be. Do I want to change the heat? Easy to do. Do I need to configure the infotainment system? Just as easy to do. In a world that's getting more and more complicated, where cars are becoming autonomous and everybody's trying to reinvent how to shift a car from park to drive, Volkswagen has made a car that is driver-centric, that is confidence-inspiring, and on top of all that, I think it's affordable in this segment. So yeah, it's a good car. I could see myself going across the country to visit Yellowstone with the family in the back and being quite comfortable doing so. So Roosevelt Arch, which is just over my left shoulder, marks the entrance to the north entrance to Yellowstone National Park. And I wonder if it's the same as it is at Rocky Mountain National Park with all these elk. Every year we get, I suspect, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of visitors who come to Rocky Mountain National Park to see the elk. And just like here, they're actually harder to spot in the park because in Estes Park, they like hanging out on the golf course because, well, that's where the best grass is, I suspect. Here, they seem to like hanging out in front of the park, right by the north entrance to the park, Roosevelt Arch. If we're very quiet, maybe we can hear the male bugling, because that is his harem, or do you say harem, of females. Let's see how many he's got. Oh, he's getting up now. Don't worry, dude. They're all yours, really. They're all yours. Just like any guy, very protective of his lady friends. Maybe he was just hungry. We're up here at the north entrance, and we can go down. It takes about 3 hours to get to Old Faithful, huh?
That's, yeah, probably about right.
Yeah. Talk about big wheels. You know, I thought Big Green and the Atlas had some pretty good road presence. You know, a good stance, but holy cow, that is badass. I want me one of those. I really do. As you probably know, Yellowstone is home to a lot of volcanic activity, and that's because this is home to one of the world's largest volcanoes, the Ring of Fire. It's a volcano that's 640,000 years old. The crater, which you can barely see, is 30 by 40 miles long, and if it were ever to erupt, it would probably take half of North America with it, or at least cover half of North America in ash, making this place unlivable. So it's cool, but there's definitely a sleeping giant under this earth. I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news, of course, is that we made it down here to Old Faithful, but the bad news is the bloody thing just went off and we missed it. I suspect you guys could Google it. It's a geyser going off. Well, you know what it looks like. And it won't go off for another 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And we got to go return the Atlas because tomorrow we get behind the wheel of the Tiguan. So we'll be able to compare the Atlas to the Tiguan when we take it down to the Teton. So be sure to stay tuned for that in this video. And right now I think I'm gonna, you know what? I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a selfie to mark the occasion of not seeing Old Faithful erupt. All right, here we go. So I finally figured out what vehicle this Atlas reminds me of the most. Can you figure it out? Do you see it? It's got a lot of Ford Explorer in it. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments below. And you know what? I sense a fade to black coming on right now. And we unfade, it'll be tomorrow morning. Welcome to day 2 of this epic Western American road trip. And as you can tell, we've traded in our Atlas for a brand new Tiguan. And here's a funny story. You know where the word Tiguan came from? It actually came from a contest in a German magazine that took 2 words, the word tiger and iguana, and stuck them together, and you get Tiguan. And you know what? I like that. All the car makers today are going with crazy names and letter combinations, and here Volkswagen has a still real, even though made up name, the Tiguan. So let's keep heading down south. We're gonna go to the Grand Tetons, eventually to Jackson Hole, and we're gonna have some surprises along the way. Under the hood of the Tiguan is of course a 2-liter turbo. Puts out 184 horsepower, and that's a little bit less than the previous model. However, it has more gears, an 8-speed transmission that powers all 4 wheels, and torque from this engine can be directed 100% to the front or rear, depending on the conditions. Check it out, I've got tons of legroom and headroom, even with this massive panoramic sunroof. And keep in mind, I am sitting behind myself, and I'm pretty tall, 6'2". Now, in terms of cost, this Tiguan with all the bells and whistles costs just over $30,000, and it competes with cars like, of course, the best-selling Honda CR-V and the Toyota RAV4. Volkswagen supersized this latest Tiguan. It's about 4 inches longer, it's wider, it's taller, it's just a much bigger vehicle, making it much more American XL friendly. Okay, I'm talking about myself, but in general, we love big cars here in America, and that is now a much bigger car. Think of this Tiguan, yes, I know, tiger and iguana stuck together, it's pretty cool, as a mini-me version of the Atlas. And I like it. As a mini-me version of the Atlas, it has the same kind of basic Germanic qualities that make for a very good car. Everything comes to hand, everything is relatively straightforward, it's easy to use. How does it drive? Well, it drives in a very Germanic way, and what I mean by that is it's poised, the braking is linear, and when I floor it, alright, it may not be an Autobahn burner, but it's relatively fuel efficient, and call me a sucker for German engineering, but I like the way that the Germans think about cars, and I like the way that this car moves down the road. Oh my, it's a Yellowstone traffic jam. And we've got a little bit of Yellowstone road rage going on right in front of the car. Luckily, they decided that they had to be at work. Well, we came back again and we just missed it twice now. Just imagine it. Huge amounts of steam and sulfuric scented water spraying. Oh, there it is. Missed it again. There you have it, the majestic Grand Tetons. What makes them so wonderful is that unlike the Rockies, they're pointy and sharp with wonderful pinnacles that jut out like teeth in a dinosaur's mouth. Of course, today, you can't see that because they're covered in clouds. But normally, trust me, this would be really like the jaw in a dinosaur with these jagged and rugged and pointy teeth. Well, if it weren't for the clouds. Started this grand American road trip in Bozeman, Montana, and here we are in downtown Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I want to thank Volkswagen for providing me with two interesting cars to drive. Now, there's one question I still need to answer. If it were my money, would I get the Atlas or the Tiguan? Of course, the Atlas starts at about $30,000, where the Tiguan leaves off, but look at me, guys. I'm an XL kind of guy, so I'm gonna go with the XL car, which is the Atlas. And of course, why the Atlas? Besides the fact that I'm a big guy, I like the way that it looks, I like the way that it drives, and I like the way that it makes me feel when I'm behind the wheel. So I hope you've enjoyed this, I would say, epic American road trip adventure through some of the most beautiful parts of America. Thanks, guys, for watching, and thank you, Volkswagen, for letting me use your vehicles. As always, this is Roman saying, see you guys next time. Man, that is a lot of elk horns. This is kind of the iconic arch that Jackson Hole is known for. See you guys next time. Ciao.